I know I'm right. He is the real murderer. Did you figure it out, Nick? More or less. Turns out this cell phone was the key to this case after all. Anyway, now's our chance to deep six this guy. I'll sink him in one shot. Yeah! This is so exciting watching you work again. Somehow my old self is coming back. It's time to sink or swim. Everything rests on the edge of a knife. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Order! Order! Your Honor, the defense is making a mockery of this court. Without any solid ground to stand on, he accuses the witness of being the murderer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm no criminal. This third-rate fraud of a lawyer.
In that case, why don't we look at it from a different perspective? Let's hear your explanation as to why you are not the murderer.
Why, that's easy. For example, there's the name the victim wrote. What about that?
Oh, you mean the name Maggie?
Yeah, even an idiot like you can read that, right?
But we already know this was not written by the victim himself. After all, the defendant's name is Maggie, E-Y, and the victim was left-handed. So basically, you were saying that in order to make the defendant look guilty, the real criminal used the victim's right hand to write her name on the ground.
But wouldn't that mean that the real criminal was someone the defendant knew? Otherwise, how else would the person know that her name was Maggie?
That is a good point. The witness didn't even know of Miss Bird before this trial. Ah, I forgot. Is there any way this creep could have known Maggie's name beforehand? I have a feeling that there was a way. It would be best if I could prove that the witness had a chance to learn that the defendant's name was Maggie. Now, will the defense please present its case? How could the witness have known the defendant's name? This phone here. Take that! Mr. Wellington, you didn't have your cell phone with you on the day of the murder, correct?
So what if I didn't?
When you realized you had lost it, what did you do?
What did I do?
Didn't you try to find it by calling it?
Why, how did you?
Your Honor, these questions have nothing to do with... Overruled. Mr. Wright, where are you going with this line of questioning? Do you think there is some relation between this witness's cell phone and the murder? I do, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, Maggie Bird picked up a lost phone in the park. And she also received a phone call from the owner of the phone. So we are hearing this conversation for the second time, so I'm just going to talk over it normally. Actually, I'm just going to keep mashing the A button, and I'm going to take a drink of my Sprite. That was when you learned the name, that her name was Maggie. But you made one fatal mistake. Fatal mistake? My client's name is Maggie, E-Y, but the name that was written on the ground was Maggie, I-E. That is a mistake that could only occur if all you knew was how her name sounded. Order. But, Your Honor, the witness has no motive. And your point is? It's very simple, Your Honor. A person usually would not kill someone without a reason. Mr. Wellington had no reason to kill anyone.
That is absolutely correct. I don't have a motive.
Mr. Wright. Your Honor, can you explain what motive this witness could have had? It's very simple, Your Honor. Are you sure, Nick? If I said I can't offer an explanation, then the trial's over, right? Yeah, but... Now then, please present to the court, to this court proof that the witness had a motive. Oh, it was this. I'm presenting things out of order. I'm an idiot. I'll have to edit that out, but yeah. If you mess up, thing goes poof. You can only mess up so many times. Take that! Mr. Wellington's motive is right here. What is this, a list? These phone numbers were pulled from the memory of the phone the defendant found. And we have determined that the people on this list are members of a certain group. You looked up all those numbers? Of course. This list of phone numbers was stored in the cell phone's memory. The names and numbers belong to people who are members of a certain con artist group.
What? Con artists?
Can you explain why these numbers were on your phone, Mr. Wellington?
This is an outrage, an invasion of privacy. Looking up the phone numbers on a person's phone is a worse crime than murder. You're one of those people. Bloody, 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 bloody. Let me take my drink.
I don't care, Mr. Wellington. Thank you. All I want is for you to tell us what this list is about.
Do you think any of you, can know what it's like to be a refined man like me? Your Honor, this is unjust badgering of the witness.
Objection overruled. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Why would the witness have the numbers of a group of con artists on his phone? Isn't that obvious? The witness is a member of that group. Mr. Wellington is a member of this very group. All of your friends' phone numbers are stored right here on this phone. If anyone were to look into these phone numbers, it would all be over for you. That is why you had to kill.
This is too much!
That does make quite a bit of sense. Well, Mr. Wellington, would you care to explain?
I
got you now.
That police officer. Your Honor.
What is it, Mr. Payne?
Your Honor, this is unjust badgering of the witness.
You said the exact same thing only a few seconds ago.
Please, let's think about the content of that phone call. So we are listening to this phone call for the third freaking time. The defendant had already promised that she would return the phone. After that, all Mr. Wellington had to do was meet Miss Byrne and get his phone back. Why then would he need to kill anyone?
That is a valid point. What does the defense think about this point?
If you think about it logically, then it makes sense. And maybe we should be thinking outside the box. Yeah, if you think like that, let's see. Maybe that slime ball saw something at the crime scene that made him commit murder.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
Well, I don't think Mr. Wellington went to pick up his phone in a very friendly manner. When he was promised his phone, so why would he have been unfriendly to the defendant? I think he must have seen something that didn't agree with him when he got there.
Well then, Mr. Wright, what was this something that didn't agree with the witness?
And here was where I messed up, because I presented this out of order. Take that!
What Mr. Wellington saw was the victim.
The victim? You mean Dustin Prince?
Dustin Prince had gone on his date right after his shift was over. With no time to change, he went to the park still wearing his police uniform.
Oh! The girl that picked up my phone is with a policeman.
He couldn't have known they were going out, so he began to worry. He was afraid the policeman would ask a few questions before returning the phone.
If I do anything suspicious, he might run a check on my phone.
In his mind, it was possible they had already run a check on the phone. And he went into a panic. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Officer Prince was murdered simply because he was in uniform. Mr. Payne, do you have any comments?
I'm thinking.
It seems the truth has come out at last. The witness, Mr. Wellington, you are...
Laughing fit! He is going crazy! Impressive! Not bad for a person with a third-rate education!
What's that supposed to mean?
The evidence! Evidence!
That guy is really creeping me out.
All you've been waving around is talking about is that suspicious cell phone. Suspicious phone number this. Suspicious con group that.
They're all on that phone! Who's to say that phone is really mine? Where's your proof, your evidence? You want proof that this phone is yours? I already told you earlier. The phone that I lost, I've already found it. You don't have even the slightest idea who the phone in your hand belongs to. You can't be sure it isn't mine, you simpleton. What? It feels good to see you squirm. We do seem to have a problem on our hands with this phone. Whose phone is it? Without knowing that, it's meaningless as evidence. Your Honor, this is bad. I can't let him turn the tables on me like this. This cell phone. There has to be something I've overlooked. There's got to be. Maybe. This is another one of those instances where you choose a thing and it really doesn't matter. I got it. We should check for fingerprints. Fingerprints? Yes, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wellington must have left some prints on his phone. Nick, don't you remember? When you got that phone from Maggie, you wiped it off. Like, what? You said there was sand all over it, so... Wiped it? I wiped it? Pretty thoroughly, too. Oh crap, he's made a full recovery. Shit! It's oh so much fun watching third-rate trash babble like morons amongst themselves. He's made a complete recovery. How many times do I have to say this? My phone is right here, you see? Oh, and incidentally, you can't check the numbers stored on this phone. It must have glitched because all the numbers magically disappeared. You've got to be joking. He erased all the numbers I was going to use as evidence. Mr. Wellington. What's this? From the way you talk to me, it sounds like you still have some fight left in you. Where did you finally find your cell phone? And he's going crazy again. You want too much. And of course, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Wait a minute. Oh my god, now I remember! Do-do-do-do-do-do. And, we saw this at the beginning of the case. So that's when... What's wrong, Mr. Attorney? Why the harsh glare in your eyes? Nick, we've worked so hard to get this far, but if you don't do something quick, he's gonna get off scot-free. I know this phone has to be his. How am I supposed to prove something like that? Mr. Wright, if you cannot prove who the owner of that cell phone is, your indictment has no basis and therefore no power. It looks like you came up a penny short. Where did I go wrong? You didn't go wrong! You have one thing left to present! Don't blame yourself, you're merely a third-rate lawyer. You only made one big mistake. Who are you? What are you? That's something you haven't figured out for yourself yet. Who I am? The court hereby concludes the cross-examination. If that will be all, I'll have to bid you gentlemen and ladies goodbye. I have a reservation at that ultra-fancy restaurant on the upper side of town. Thank you for your assistance. You've had a stressful day, so please, bon appetit. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just let it go with that? No! Raise an objection! Please, wait, Your Honor. All right, Nick. I think I may be able to prove it. Prove it? Prove what, Mr. Wright? Everything. Your Honor, the cross-examination has already ended. If he questions the witness with any more of his badgering... You will not harass the witness. Is that clear, Mr. Wright? Did you hear that? No harassment allowed, Mr. Attorney. Please, Your Honor. Very well, but this is your last chance, Mr. Wright. You may present one piece of evidence to the court. I only get one shot at this. If you cannot prove everything, it's over for your client and for you. Do you fully understand? Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sure you are well aware, Your Honor, but the cross-examination period has ended.
Were you paying attention, Mr. Payne? I said that Mr. Wright could present only one more piece of evidence.
Oh.
Now then, Mr. Wright, this is your last chance. It all comes down to this. It's go time. Please present one piece of evidence that will explain everything. The one thing we haven't used yet. Take that! Why, thank you. How nice. Here, please have one of mine. We're exchanging business cards. Wait, what am I doing? This isn't the time to be exchanging business cards. Your Honor, there's something very important about that card, and that is the back of the card. This card is important because of what is on the back.
You wrote your cell phone number on the back, but
that's exactly it. Can you please call this number from your cell phone?
Huh? Right now? The court is still in session.
It's okay. You'll see.
Okay, if you say so.
Is the defense preparing something, Mr. Wright? We are going to call my cell phone right now, and then the court will see everything for what it is. Of all the idiotic, stupid things to... Oh, what a reference! Pink Princess / that other thing. That is awesome. Why is my phone? And what is with this stupid sounding ringtone? Mr. Wellington. How strange. I could almost swear that you're holding my phone. Your? No, I can't. By the way, before I forget, thank you very much for the lump on my head this morning. I don't think I need to explain any further except to say, when you went to retrieve your cell phone, you mistakenly took the wrong one. And he's out of there. Turn purple and fall. Thank you very much. So that is what happened. You were knocked out by Mr. Wellington. He is a man who lives on his pride and self-image alone. And in order to hide his involvement with the con artist group, he has become paranoid and has lost all ability to make rational judgments.
Then, Mr. Wright, the phone you're holding...
It's Mr. Wellington's, naturally. Speaking of that man, how is he, Mr. Payne?
He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor.
Very well. Now then, this court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. We still have our confetti courts at the end of the case, which is always awesome. That is all. This court is adjourned. So that whole trial took 4 hours. Even though playtime is just over an hour. I knew the real you would shine through eventually. I'm so moved by what you've done for me, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I feel really bad for Dustin. He didn't do anything to deserve this. It's probably because of me. Huh? My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Your whole life? Couldn't have been that bad, could it? Since I was 6 months old, when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed in almost every test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and never won or even tied at a game of tic-tac-toe. My life has really been nothing but a string of disasters. That is, pretty bad. Up until I went to college, I was known as the Goddess of Misfortune. And then at the academy, everyone called me Lady Luckless. Lady Luckless?
What's worse is that my misfortune always seems to latch onto those around me. What do you mean? When I see someone in trouble, I always try to help.
Ah, that's right. You were talking about this earlier.
It happened again recently, too, sir. There was an old lady pacing back and forth by the pedestrian crosswalk. I gave her my hand, and before I knew it, we were having dinner at my house. Oh. I'm sure that Dustin's gone because of me.
That's not true!
That glove didn't even have any sort of special meaning. It was just a present to say thanks for covering one of my night shifts. Oh, I see. Everything is all my fault. Dustin's death. Her head being all messed up.
Oh, well, I don't think my head is that messed up yet.
I'm going to find a new life for myself starting now. Next time we meet, I'm sure I'll have found a whole ocean's worth of good luck by then, sir.
Yeah, after all, the goddess of misfortune is only a name.
You bet! I'm gonna make it, I promise. Next time we meet, I'll only be an unlucky person instead of a goddess.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Well, Mr. Wright, Maya, I should get going. Okay, good luck to you. Thanks, you take care of yourselves too.
What a horrible day. I've gotten my memory back, but things are still a little fuzzy. But you're okay, and that's what counts. You really ought to be worried.
Come on, let's go back to the office.
I'm afraid to ask, but here goes. So, this might sound bad, but, who are you?
What? I thought you said you got your memory back.
At that moment, everything really did come back to me. Because she actually kicked me in the face. Detective Gumshoe. He's someone I've had clashes with in the past during certain cases, but he's also been a good ally during others. The Judge. He's a lovable, kind old man who is easily swayed by other people's opinions. A Wikipedian opinion, as I think Prometheus calls it. But in the end, he always comes up with the right verdict. This person, I haven't got a clue. He seems to know me, but maybe he's mistaken me for someone else. And this girl, Maya?
You finally remembered.
This is Maya Fey, my assistant. That's right, I had so many unforgettable memories about her. For example...
Earth to Nick, what's wrong? You keep staring at me, don't tell you you miss me.
Well, yeah, I suppose I have. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages.
Oh? Well, I'm back now, so it's time for us to create new memories together.
Alright, sounds good. All the phone numbers on my phone were erased by Mr. Wellington. I guess I have to start over from the very beginning.
Come on, Nick! Let's go to our usual burger joint!
Okay. Actually, it hasn't even been 2 months since you came back into my life. And that story began on one rainy afternoon 2 months ago. And with that little hook, that ends Case 1. So a brand new episode has been added. Next time we go into this, we will start Case 2, Reunion and Turnabout. See you then.